Welcome to the Class Business Podcast. I'm Krissy Monaghan, your host, and today we are joined by Anneka Hurst, a Rhythm Time franchisee delivering fun, engaging music classes for babies, toddlers and preschool children across Coventry, Rugby and West Northamptonshire. Anneka is a triple finalist at the Class Business Awards for Business Growth of the Year, Children's Activity Provider of the Year and Emerging Business of the Year. I cannot wait for this conversation, so let's dive in. Anneka, it's absolutely amazing to have you here with us today on the Class Business Podcast. For everyone who is listening online or watching us on YouTube, please tell everyone who you are, what do you do, and where do you do it?
Good morning. So we are Rhythm Time Coventry, Rugby and West Northamptonshire. A nice long name, but tells you exactly where we are. So we have classes running across Coventry, Bedworth, Rugby and in Daventry, so West Northamptonshire. And we provide music classes for the under fives, so babies, toddlers and preschoolers.
And how long have you been in business for?
We're just coming up to our third year, so it'll be our third year anniversary on the 28th of July. So yeah, it's gone fast.
And what did you do before you actually started your business?
So before this, I was a secondary school teacher. I was head of humanities and I taught religious studies, history and geography. So very different to what I do now.
How comes, did you always want to be a teacher?
Yeah, so I've always wanted to be a teacher. Ever since I was tiny, I would write in my diaries when I was little that I either wanted to be a teacher or I was a lollipop lady. I think my mum was relieved I went for the teacher job instead, but it's because I loved my lollipop lady. So yeah, it's always been something I've wanted to do, and I did it for 14 years. I was in the classroom, so quite a long time, quite a big part of my life, yeah, it was a big change moving into running a business, but I still get to do all the lovely bits of teaching that I enjoy.
So did you start off in primary school education or did you just go straight to secondary?
Straight to secondary, yeah. I always wanted to work with the older children, but my family have all got a massive background in early years. So my aunties run a nursery, my mum worked there as well, and my sister's a nursery teacher. So I've always been around younger children and learning about the early years through them. So I've always felt like I've had a connection to the early years education, but something drew me into secondary teaching, and I really enjoyed the GCSE and A-level element of it, so I think that's what made me go down that path.
And then how comes you decided to take a leap into self-employment?
So I'd always wanted to run my own business. It's been something I've always wanted to do. I had my first child in 2019 and I thought, I love going to classes. I loved baby classes. I went to one every day, I think it was. And my schedule was so busy, we just didn't stop and I absolutely loved it. And I thought, I'd love to do this. It'd be something I'd really want to do. And then when I went back to work, it was March time, 3 weeks in, we went into lockdown. And COVID hit and I thought, okay, maybe this isn't the right time to be looking into a business. So I stuck with teaching, carried on until I had my second little one. And then when I had my little boy, I was going to Rhythm Time with both of them on a Friday morning. And the lady who was running it at the time was selling. And it just kind of felt like everything was falling into place. I love music. I love the classes. My little ones had loved the classes. I was ready to go back to work. So I was able to make it work around going back and finishing in the summer for my teaching job and then take over from the business in the summer holidays. And it just meant I could have that flexibility with them. Eliza was starting school and I wanted to be able to take her to school in the morning, pick her up. Stanley was still quite young. He was only 15 months.
So you talked about making a decision to go into self-employment. I'm just really interested to hear what your decision-making process was around that, because from my experience, teachers are risk averse. They don't want to take the leap into self-employment because they're scared. And you made the decision quite quickly that you were going to go all in. So how did that come about? Like, what did you go through in your head to make that decision?
I mean, I spent a long time looking at basically the potential that the business had. We did a lot of due diligence with Rhythm Time. I spoke to lots of other franchisees. I'd spent a long time thinking, well, what is it that I want? Is it the financial side? Is it the getting work-life balance? Am I still going to feel challenged by this? Because I did, a big part of me really didn't want to walk away from teaching. Exactly as you said, I did feel like this is a massive risk. And part of me was scared, but I was also really excited and curious. And I think I was at a point in my life where I felt if I don't do this now, I'm not sure I'm going to do it. And what's the worst that's going to happen? If I try and I fail, I can say, do you know what? I gave it a go and it didn't work for me. And then I can go back into teaching. But if I succeed and I enjoy it and it works and it does all the things I'm hoping it's going to do, it's going to make such a difference to our lives. And so I think in my head, I was like, well, I know I'm a hard worker. I know that I can give this a go. And in my head, I was like, well, do I do a couple of days of teaching as a security blanket? And my head even said to me, we'll keep you on the books and put you down as a cover supervisor and you can just come back if you need to. And I thought, okay, well, I've got that. But you know what? I want to go all in. I need to, if I'm going to do this, it's all or nothing. So I didn't want to do half and half. I wanted to be all about the business and give it my all. And yeah, there were a lot of sleepless nights thinking, am I doing the right thing? Is this going to work? And I spoke to a few people and there was a gentleman that had just joined the school as I was leaving and he didn't know me at all. And he said, oh, were you off? Are you leaving? I said, yeah. He said, oh wow, that sounds like a big risk that you're doing, that you're leaving to do your own business. He said, oh, you're brave. And that after that, I thought, oh, do you know what? That's fueled my fire, that has, because I want to be able to show you that, yeah, I am being brave, but I have thought this through. I've done lots of research. I've spent time really figuring it all out, planning what I'm going to do. And then when I saw I didn't see the particular gentleman, but I saw someone from the school a couple of years later. I said, oh, can you just let him know that it's actually worked out really well? And, it's scary to walk away from a job where you've got a regular income that you've known all your life, to doing something completely different. But it has been genuinely the best thing that I've ever done. I feel like I'm myself again, and it's given me a renewed energy. And yeah, I needed to give it my all, and I feel like I have. So it was definitely a good move.
And so when you started, did you just step into existing classes? Like, what did you start with?
Yeah, so I inherited some classes. So I stepped into those straight away, took over the groups that were already running. But I did add some new ones on as well. So I opened up a new day and I opened up a weekend class, because I wanted to start building straight away from the get-go. And we went from, I think I took on, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 classes I inherited. And then within my first week, I'd added another 3 plus a nursery. Because once I found out I was taking over the business, I went straight to my son's nursery and I said, oh, I don't suppose you'd like me to come in and do some sessions for you from September. And they were amazing. And they just said, yeah, come and do them. They signed us up straight away. So I'd gone from the inherited 10 sessions to 13 plus a nursery at the beginning. So yeah. And
obviously you've been in the business, what you say, 3 years?
3 years in July, end of July.
But how's it grown in the last, from where you started? What's it grown to?
So in terms of families, I inherited 22 families when I started. And the past 2 terms, we've had 320.
Wow.
So
that is a massive jump. So yeah. Talk us through how you did that, because obviously there'll be providers listening to this thinking, wow, some just start with 2 or 3 classes. You started with 10 and then added on some straight away. How did you grow it to that many people, like many families in that space of time?
I think my main priority when I first started out was making sure that I really delivered a really good quality session. And I put a lot of time and thought into every part of that. So what do I want them to see when they come into the room straight away, the minute they walk through those doors? How do I want them to feel when they're in that space? And just small things, like I had a welcome table by the door with information about the different venues we had, with milestone cards for their children to have pictures with, lots of things like, even baby wipes and nappy sacks, the things that I always used to leave at home, and just things to make them feel really welcome and settled. And the main thing for me was really getting to know them, because some of them I'd inherited from the previous owner, but lots of them had never been to Rhythm Time before. So relationships for me is a massive part of what we do. And we know every single child's name. We sing hello to every child by name at the beginning of the sessions, but we also wanted to get to know the parents and the grandparents and the families that were coming through the door. They're the ones that bring the children as well. So it's important that we get to know them. So I changed my timetable so that we had good amount of time between all the sessions to chat to the parents and the grandparents and get to know them, and what kind of jobs do they do, and what do they do the rest of the week with their little ones, and just get to know them as a person. And then from that we got a lot of word of mouth as well, lots of people going off and recommending us to friends, and just really building that community. That was so important to me, that we delivered a high quality session, but people also knew that we care and that we actually want to get to know them, that they're not just a number, they're not just upon our register each week, that they're actually somebody that we care about and we want to get to know them, and we want to spend time with them, and hopefully they'll want to stay with us as their children grow older as well, and then we can see them on that journey. So that was the big thing for me. It was like really getting that set out at the beginning. I wanted to make sure everything we did came back to that, and that's something we've carried through ever since.
And obviously that was probably your bag, because you've come from a family that's involved in childcare in one form of the format, and you were teaching. What did you have to learn from a business perspective?
Yeah, I would say that was probably the biggest learning curve for me. That the whole business side of things, it was something that obviously was brand new. I hadn't ever thought about, things like the importance of branding and everything else. And obviously we're part of a franchise, so I was very lucky. Rhythm Time have got a fantastic set of resources, and we had a mentor that really, really helped us in those early days as well. But I did lots of reading, lots of following people online, including yourself, looking at things that I needed to know around the business, and things like knowing my numbers. How many people have I got coming through the door? How many people do I need each term to make sure that I'm able to cover all my costs and the cash flow side of things? And then looking at my ideal customer, who is it that I'm marketing to? Who is it I'm talking to? And even the social media side of it, going from just sale all the time, book me. That just becomes wallpaper, and that's not what people want to know. They want to know you. They want to know your classes. They want to know what to expect when they come through the door. Why should they come to you? What's the benefit? So I changed my whole marketing approach, looked at my social media platforms and the messaging and what's going out there. And then things like the understanding the market, because it's changed so much, and it's always changing and evolving. And I think when I first came in, I was just so excited to teach the sessions that I didn't really think about any of that. So that was a big thing to me. It's like I really need to understand what's going on in the bigger world and what people are prioritizing right now, what's important to them. And at the moment, connection is huge. So thinking about how we connect with people, how do we give people that time every week that's just for them, that's special with them and their child, but really getting that message across to people was really important. So I think I went very gung-ho at the start. I was just like, right, we're going to do this and we're going to do this and we're going to do this. And then from a business perspective, I hadn't really sort of sat down and properly mapped all of that out. And then it was about, once I'd done my first term, I think after that second, when I got into my second term, I was like, right, now we need to take stock and think, right, where am I at financially? Where am I at in my business? Am I meeting the goals that I've set for this year? And actually mapping out the next few months and really planning ahead so that I wasn't taking loads of steps in one direction and then that wasn't working. I was trying to take more measured, planned steps rather than just steam ahead and then regret it later on. Yeah.
Have you built a team? Have you got a team that help you deliver? So how many classes are you delivering per week at the moment between you and your team?
So we've got 22 running at the moment. And then that will go up in September. We're actually adding more preschool classes to our programme in September. Now that we've got little ones who've come through who are older now, we've added those to our schedule. So it will go up to 25 in September.
Wow, so 25 classes, and how many of you are delivering then?
There's myself and my class leader, Alice. So between the two of us.
Two of us, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So Alice joined me in April. It was actually, she joined me my second year in. So she's actually she's going into her second year, and she joined me at a time I wasn't even looking for a class leader at that point, because I think I was quite nervous about taking somebody on. And she just showed up and said, I'd love to teach for you. And it was just one of those, those situations that it all just all sort of fell into place. So she's been with us a couple of years, and then we've also got a virtual assistant as well. Now I've got Jade, who's my wonderful virtual assistant, and she came on board with me. It's been a year I've been working with her now, because I got to the point where we'd grown so much. And whilst I was still working in the business, there were lots going on trying to work on the business, and I just needed somebody else to come in and support with the day-to-day admin. So she's been fantastic, and that's really helped over the past year.
Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? When you grow so fast, it's the back end and the systems that need to be in place to allow that growth, for sure. So let's talk about the impact that you're having in your local community, because obviously if you're working with 300 families plus a week, can you talk me through what that means to families and the community?
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy, isn't it? Like, I think at the beginning I was very much about, we're doing this to help the little ones develop and have fun, but it's become bigger over the time, and now the impact I'm seeing is beyond what I expected us to be able to have for families. And just to give an example, I had a childminder this week. They had their last session because their little one's going off to nursery, and she came up to me in tears at the end, and she said, I've had a really difficult personal time over the past year. She'd lost a friend, and she said, your classes have been the sunshine for me every week. She said that's kept me out of a really dark spell. And she said it was the one thing that every week she knew she could look forward to, and that she would leave feeling uplifted. And you don't know what's going on in people's lives, and you don't know what impact you're having in that respect. So for her to share that with me, it was really emotional and really touching. And you just think that you're just delivering these really fun sessions, but actually for some people that is their highlight of their week, that they come and do that and they leave feeling better than they came. And then things like we've had a lot of children joining us with additional needs, and music is such a universal language. Children can access it in so many different ways. I had a little boy who couldn't make it through the door. He was petrified about coming into the room, and his mum said, I'm not sure we're going to be able to do this. I'm not sure it's going to work. And I said, well, let's try a few things first and we'll see. I said, but obviously, you know, we'll work with you, because she was desperate to stick with it. So luckily in the venue that we're in, it's got a glass porch and he can see in the room. So I would hand him things through the door. So if we were using maracas, I'd like sneak some maracas through the door, hand him some sticks. He would pop them in the basket and put them away. So he was still part of the session. I would go out and welcome him when he first arrived. I would even, when we did bubbles at the end, I would open the door and waft the bubbles into the area for him so he could still join in. And then we did that for about a month.
Wow.
And then it was a long time. And then just one day I just turned around and saw him at the back of the hall. And I was like, oh. And I didn't want to say anything because I didn't want to scare him. But, you know, part of me was really excited. And then about a week later, he was then at the mats with the other children. And then Mum messaged me a couple of weeks after that. She's like, I just want to say how amazing it is that he's in the room and he's with the other children and he's joining in and he's loving it. She said, it just makes me want to cry. I'm so happy. And I just thought, oh, that's amazing, because that music should be for everybody. And our classes are inclusive. We want everyone to feel safe and happy. And so to hear that she was so delighted with the progress he'd made and we'd really stuck at it for a long time. You know, how do you measure that impact? I mean, for that family, I think that's just, I was just so happy that we were able to do that for him.
And that's a testament to you, though, because obviously you've got experience and, you know, from working in a secondary school and the family around you. Most providers wouldn't have that experience to be able to offer that. So it's great that you knew how to engage him and eventually he came. It took, 6 weeks?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I would probably say that most, you know, providers don't have those skill sets to do that. And then obviously that child wouldn't have come back, right, because it wouldn't be able to be included. So, you should feel proud of yourself for that, because it's like your knowledge and your experience has helped those children and that family engage in your activities. It's brilliant. So what's the plan for the rest of this year? Like you're saying, obviously we're growing to some more classes.
Yeah. So we've got quite a few new things coming through from head office at the moment, which I can't divulge everything because it's still going on behind the scenes. So it's got some new things coming in, which we're very excited about, that we're going to be exploring next year. But for me, the next step now is to we are going to expand again. So I expanded when I took over the business. It was just Coventry and Rugby, and I kept getting a lot of business from West Northants. And so after my first year, I contacted head office and said, right, I want to buy West Northants. I'm going to add that on. So I added that on, and I do run 1 day of classes there, but it's a huge, West Northamptonshire is huge and it's very much untapped. So my plan is to recruit another class leader and get some classes running over in West Northamptonshire in some of the areas that we know there are lots of families looking for classes. So that's my next kind of big step, is to take somebody on board, train them up and get them launching over that side. And then also for my class leader, she's a nursery specialist. She's been working with nurseries all her life, and so the other side of it is that she would like to work in some more nursery settings. So I'm looking down that path for her as well, to explore those options for her. So it's about expanding, but not taking over the world expanding. But just, I think just in those areas where we know there are families looking for classes and they don't have a lot running in that area, we'd really love to be able to offer them our programme. So that's the next step for us.
Well, it's amazing. And I know, you know, you've got the skills and the knowledge to implement that and to make it happen. So if a parent who's listening to this podcast is interested in coming to your classes, where's the best place? Where can they contact you to find out more?
So if they go to our website, rhythmtime.net/Coventry-rugby, they'll be able to see all of our timetable listed on there, and they'll be able to find more information on there. But I would say if they want to chat to us directly, going through our social media channels, Instagram, Facebook, they are brilliant because you'll be able to see all of our latest updates on there. But also, if they drop us a message through either of those channels, then we'll be able to have a chat through all of the options for them. We can go through where their nearest class is, what would be best fitting for their child, and answer any questions that they might have as well. So if they want to go ahead and book, the website's fantastic. If they want to find out more information and have a chat to us directly, social media is the best place for them to head.
Perfect. And if a provider wants to speak, talk to you about how you grow your business like so fast in that period of time, where's the best place to contact you for that one?
Yeah, again, if they go through social media, we're very active on there. I do love my social media. So yeah, if they drop us a message through there, then I can chat to them, and I'm more than happy to share our experiences. And we're also always up for collaborating with local businesses as well. We've done lots of collaborations over the past few years. I love working with other businesses, and I think it really helps you to grow when you are able to collaborate and learn with other people. So more than happy for them to reach out. If they drop us a message, we can have a chat with them.
Brilliant. Well, thank you so much for your time, Anneka, today. I'm so excited to see you on the 10th of October down in Birmingham. Brilliant interview. It's been great finding about you and the business and what you're building. You're doing epic things, and may it continue. But in October, you'll be able to give me an update of where everything's up to.
Yeah, definitely. No, I can't wait. I've got to go get myself a new dress. It's a good excuse to go shopping.
Of course. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you, Krissy.